Something I love about table tennis is that everybody does it well they are any good at it or not. It's fun, right? It's really meet new people and after playing regularly you actually become better. Hold on, Alan. You actually what you have your foreign languages you probably thinking well. I believe playing ping pong surprisingly is many similarities with speaking foreign languages with native speakers. Sadly, I think I feel we have to speak a new language perfectly before we start a conversation that can get a message across that we have mastered. Every order words by heart in order to pass this real-life language the same by seeing it. This way we create our barriers. Recent BBC analysis show foreign language learning in UK schools as low as 50% in some areas. I want to show you how fast you can benefit from speaking foreign languages. It will take you fear away. A while ago, I live in Shanghai and moving from there to the Bristol with quite culture shock, and I started to miss Chinese food. One night I decided to check out my local Chinese takeaway and order my veggie with rice in English. However, I noticed that all the customers were taking their meals away from plastic forks and knives. I wasn't used to this having lived in China, and I adapted this currently embarrassing moment. This counter would have had chopstick in Chinese and she laughed. She told me, show me how you use and show me why not good, not good. In Chinese, she told me, wait a second, went to the kitchen and checked. But when she came back, she told me she couldn't find any. However, when she handed me over the food with the chopstick, imaginable, and I had to laugh to say, I think it is warmly and say goodbye in broken Chinese. She was so happy just because I spoke a few words in Chinese. The embarrassing moment it turned out not my attempt to speak Chinese. It was the moment I realized talking my first bites with my new chopsticks that I had forgotten to face. And then I went to apologize in English. Now, I'm not saying you should start learning a new language to get free food. Okay, that wouldn't even be an achievement. This would be so much more than it. It did an ordinary transaction into a far more human connection. The biggest payoff comes in the first two stages of learning another languages. The phrase, I don't want a knife, I want chopsticks, give me so much more than just a pair of chopsticks. I am talking to you a very outskirts of suburbia personally here. After living in a couple of different countries and being able to speak on a procession in Russia, I decided to make my long-awaited dream come true. I started to transfer Barbarian on my own in the very far east of Russia. Around 6 o'clock in the evening, I said goodbye to my culture from host Eli in a little Siberian town called Khabarovsk. I was about a wilderness journey called Black Star Long Train that looks Ken had been touched in Soviet times and entered the third-class carriage. The train guard came and checked my tickets and asked me a couple of questions. I didn't understand. Luckily, three people on the other side of the ice helped me because my Russian wasn't fluent. Back then, however, they were in Russia, and I noticed something very unusual. They wore his red badge on their shirts, and so I was wondering where these people from. Now, they call me from North Korea, and I had never met North Koreans before and had assumed I probably never would without visiting this country. I'm generally a spontaneous person, so I asked them, "Where you from?" Ponya, they said, "In Russia." I couldn't believe it. Here in outskirts of Siberia, I just burned and amused Korean. I didn't know where I started. My Russia was limited. Made so impressed myself that was good translate to help me, and so I just asked what were names in Russia, and they said Hyung, Kim, and Kim. We talked about familiar basic topics like families, where you going. We have been born in city more than 5,000 miles, but it didn't feel so different after all. Everybody is looking happiness and cares about spending time with love. I was able to connect with Han Kim, and Kim through Russia is a common language. Without this, they would have stayed a mystery forever. Do you want to see them? Han Kim, and Kim. And the woman from Restore the Takeaway were only a few samples. My life wouldn't be the same without a dozen of international friends and experiences. I have thanks to speak foreign languages. The most important thing is that I don't speak all of them fluently. Just like table tennis, you don't have to Olympic champion. One of the biggest awards come to the start of learning a thing to take away from our bags with rice or some balls of chopstick. That table tennis. You may not pick good about my set I try with languages. After all, your favorite speaking foreign languages is not compared to the benefit of new experiences wait for you. Good luck.